Welcome back to West Texas View.
You've been hearing us talk about First 5 Permian Basin, which is a program that focuses on the first 5 years of a child's life, where 90% of all learning and development begins. And now you're going to meet Sheri Fincher, who is the coordinator of Early Childhood Coalition, the coalition that forms around a child to help promote all of these advantages for a young child. And so, Sheri, thank you so much for being here. But before we start talking about First 5, talk about yourself for a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to First 5.
Before coming to First 5, I was working for another university and had the opportunity to work in Odessa versus Midland, which Odessa is where my home is, where my children go to school. And so I took the opportunity and have been blessed ever since.
Oh yes, this is such an exciting program.
I'm a single mom myself. My boys are older; they're 20 and 14 now. But I wish I would have had this when I was a young parent. So that's how it came to be.
And one of the things that you've learned that you can easily transfer to these other parents is that it's not easy, because there's so many other things that get in the way of being a parent that really focuses on what a child needs to be a success in life. And that's what this is all about. So tell us about the coalitions, and I know some really exciting things have happened just recently.
Yes. The Early Childhood Coalition, it meets once a month, the second Friday of the month at UTPB. We provide lunch. It's always a wonderful lunch, and it's always a wonderful networking opportunity. But not only that, we have wonderful partners. There's around 60 agencies that have come together and been attending on a regular basis for the last 2 years.
Which I think just shows how important this program is, when you've got 60 agencies that are saying we want to be a part of making it successful.
Yes, and our goal is to create an early childhood system, which, like Beth said earlier, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's really what that system consists of. All of the things that a child needs to be ready as they possibly can be when they hit kindergarten age, and that actually starts, before they're born. And so we're working 0 to 5 to get those children.
And when
ready
you
for
have
kindergarten.
2 parents that work, or maybe a single parent that works, sometimes everything else gets kind of shoved to second place. But this is so critical to a child's life, that learning how to squeeze in, to schedule, to make it a part of just the conversation in a child's life is so important.
Right, and I think that our partners has been a really wonderful experience, because we've all come together to support parents and to support families, so that they can do the best job possible, because we realize that it is stressful. Parenting is wonderful, but it is also very stressful.
In the best of situations, it's
absolutely
stressful. And I think we should stress right here again that this is not just for low-income families, or just for single parents, or just for working parents. It's for anybody who has a child from 1 to 5.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about how some of these coalitions are coming together to help.
Okay. Like I said, the Early Childhood Coalition has about 60 partners. We just completed a 5-year strategic plan for early childhood in the Permian Basin. So we're excited about that, and we're in the implementation process now. There was 2 little things that I'd like to talk about that we just completed that was part of that plan. I don't know if you saw the news, but on May 22nd, the Born Learning Trail had the ribbon cutting at Sherwood Park. And the Born Learning Trail is a fun activity trail outdoors, stroller friendly for young children and their families. It has little stations that promotes activity, learning, all at the same time. For instance, there's maybe one that says, stops and says, find me something green. And so the child points out that there's grass, or there's trees, or whatever is there. Next one might be hop like a rabbit. And so they, get the exercise in as well as the learning piece of it. And we're excited about this. This is a partnership that actually our director, Beth Myerson, she went to the Rotary Club And so Odessa East Rotary Club is actually the one that sponsored it, along with the City of Odessa Parks and Recreation Department. So we're excited to be a part of that. And also...
And what a great name, Born Learning. The minute a child is born, they start learning. So shape them and help them and give them so much stimulus.
Right, and encourage the outdoor play, because I think so many times she was talking about earlier about the video games and they can use a cell phone, but can they use a pencil or you know, cut with scissors? But so many times we don't have a place for them to play outside.
But this is such a wonderful way for parents and child to come together.
Yes.
And have fun together.
Absolutely. The other project I wanted to talk about that we actually wrote a grant, we're funded by the Junior League of Odessa to install 3 little free libraries. We identify with some data that we have based on kindergarten readiness that there is a deficit in early learning and early literacy in certain parts of neighborhoods in Odessa, and so we've identified those neighborhoods, and we feel like that the little free libraries would be a great way to encourage parents to read to their children and get involved with their early learning process. And the Little Free Library is basically a free lending library. It'll be there in their neighborhood. They can go, they can pick a book, they can return it and get a new one, or they can keep that one for their own personal library. Because with our funding, we were funded to enough money to be able to supply new books for almost a year
to keep it
with that grant. So it's very exciting, and that we'll be able to be hopefully have those installed by the fall. In those
the interesting thing is there's a lot of tools that you give parents free to help them with this, and books are just one of the very necessary tools. And so to have these little lending libraries placed around it. But the other thing is, you said that it had inspired others to create, and you've already had some other people step up and say, we want to add
There's
some
great
more
interest
libraries.
in Midland. There's a few partners in Midland that are interested in having one at their location. And we have another community member in Odessa that's actually going to sponsor one at Murray Fly Elementary. So it's very exciting.
And before we close this segment out, tell me, now it's for children from birth to 5 years old, but is it just for Ector County?
We're actually able to serve Ector and Midland County.
Ector and Midland, okay, good. Well, so in a nutshell, your focus is building these groups that understand what you're doing so that they can help and encourage and help you promote it.
Absolutely.
Because reaching the people that need it is what's so important. It's been a pleasure to have Sheri with us to talk about her phase of First 5 Permian Basin. Join us after the break and we'll have another phase to tell you about.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.